Good morning. It is Fancy Moore coming to you again with Road to 40 Lounges and Why I Lounge. Today I'm interviewing BP Battles, the owner of the Boardroom Whiskey and Cigar Lounge in Fort Worth. I've had the pleasure of coming here a couple of times, maybe 3 times actually, and at one point I actually brought my daughter here. Let her know that I kind of smoke, but this was the perfect, cozy, quaint, and I call it grown folk environment.
Grown folk environment.
You know, because you also have the unique feature of the bar.
Yes.
He has a full bar, so not only do you get to enjoy the cigars, the bar is important to me because I do like to have the occasional drink with my cigars, but I don't drink a lot, so I will end up either having to leave a container or having an open container in the car, which I don't do. So it's kind of nice when you run across the ones that have their own bar. I've enjoyed it each time.
And we appreciate you enjoying it each time.
And those little things that make you feel grown, you know,
Yes.
that is one of them. So, BP, where I want to start with you,
Okay.
give me, like what I'm doing here,
Yes.
it's in me.
Right.
It came naturally
Yes.
as an extension of something that I already do.
Okay.
With my personality, now it challenged me in some ways because I'm more of what you would consider an introvert.
Okay. Yeah, me
But
too.
she
Yeah.
kind of goes away for this kind of thing to happen. She kind of has to.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is for me to feel strongly enough to do this in spite of those little things that, you know, challenge me, which challenges are good.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, how did you know that you wanted to do a cigar lounge? How did you get into it?
Yeah. It all started to want to do homage to my grandfather. He was an Army vet who passed prostate cancer back in 1999. And it was something that I wanted to do is for the sense of me and my grandfather have something that we can share among us.
Yes.
One of the best things I like to see when I come here is when you see a father come in with his son, a mother come in with their daughter, uncle and nephew come in and sit down and just have that bonding moment of family.
Family, yes.
And sit down and have a nice cigar and have a drink. Those are my favorite moments of when I see people walk in. A couple years ago, a father and son celebrated their birthday, had the same birthday. And they came in here and they had a cigar with one another. And that was special for me. I know it was for them.
Yeah.
But that was a special moment for me to see that.
So what you're talking about then is how you've seen family tie into this, and how this has made bonding moments and growth moments for families.
Yes.
So for you, did family play a part in this for you?
Oh yeah, played everything into it. Because I was new to cigars, so I smoked cigars back in September 2011. I made a deal with my wife that I wanted to, my wife at the time, that I want to smoke cigars, but she told me I'm going to smoke cigars as many wins as the 49ers would have. Yes, I am a 49ers fan. You know, we just lost the Super Bowl.
Y'all got whooped on Sunday. Okay, go ahead.
See, nobody saying nothing about whooped.
They got whooped.
We got beat.
If they played Kansas City, they got whooped.
Oh boy, it's a tough crowd this morning. But that previous year, she asked me how many games did y'all win. You know, it's been a rough 10 years for the Niners fan. We won like 3 games before then, so it's like,
oh, poor baby.
He's only going to smoke about 3 or 4 cigars, no big deal. And the reason why she was hesitant because her dad had died of throat cancer. But he had smoked like 3 or 4 packages of cigars. Cigarettes a day.
Cigarettes, not cigars.
Yeah, cigarettes.
There's
Cigarettes a
There's
day.
a difference.
Unfiltered cigarettes a day. This is like the 1960s, 70s, 80s. You know, where chemical was burning real bad in those cigarettes. So, not cigars, but cigarettes. So she was against it, but she gave me her blessing anyway. So I did it and just got hooked. You know, well, my first cigar I hated it. It was Uzi Tone by Georgia State.
Okay.
I didn't know about the not the first rule cigars by not inhaling, and I inhaled my guts out. You know, so I went to the 49ers Bengals game in Ohio. We flew up there, and in the tailgate, I'm inhaling my guts out. I'm praying to the porta potty, porcelain God. It was the worst thing ever, you know. But once I found out that you don't inhale cigars.
You do not inhale cigars.
Do not inhale
but you do
cigars.
cigarettes. Yes.
And man, I was hooked.
Okay.
Just the whole, the community of cigars, smokers. It's the greatest icebreaker.
Oh, yes,
and
it is.
a place where people could come together and have this one beautiful common bond over this beautiful leaf. amazing, and I just knew this was something I need to know more about.
And I'm meeting more amazing people. I meet amazing people every day, even people that don't smoke cigars.
Mhm.
But sometimes we have, I watch social media and I see
Yeah.
so many people with so many viewpoints and things that are just, to me, just disparaging.
Yeah.
And they split the culture on political stuff.
Yeah,
But I guarantee you, when I sit down in a cigar lounge and smoke a cigar,
yeah.
nobody gives a shit.
They don't give two shits about it.
And you know what?
Yeah.
What we end up discussing is like when you asked me, what do you want to smoke this morning?
Yeah.
Something mild, medium, full bodied. I was like, bring on the full.
Well, full.
You know?
She got me fired up this morning. I tell you, I feel my soulmate, my cigar soulmate, full body cigar early in the morning. Oh man, you can't beat that.
So I do hit the tough stuff in the morning. I am not scared, so y'all might as well know. I will get with it in a heartbeat.
And you know one thing I love that you did that, because some people have a misnomer that and I teach my tobacconists all this time. Don't think that when women come to the cigar lounge that they automatically want some sweet. Majority of the women walk through these doors, they're not even touching the sweet stuff.
Yes.
They want a regular stick, and a lot of them go straight to the full body. And I love that. So all you people out there in the cigar lounges, when you see a woman, please do not take her straight to the sweet stuff, because they're smoking just like I have more men who smell more sweet stuff
Oh, wow.
than I have women. Yeah, women are great smokers, man, in the cigar community. They smoke a lot of different varieties.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
I actually had an approach at one of the lounges I visited more recently, and I walk in, and my stature is 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I know I walk in bearing all the confidence that God gave me.
Amen to that.
And I was just asked what I'm always asked,
Yeah.
what can I do to help? And I said I would like a cigar and a place to smoke it. And he just immediately went in on assuming that I wanted something sweet. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you talking to the queen, I'll smoke some stuff that'll bring most men to their knees,
Yeah.
But in the end, he ended up gaining a respect for me, because when I went in that humidor, I looked around after looking like a kid in a candy store because it was so huge.
Yeah.
I picked some stuff that looked pretty dangerous. I'm serious. It had some skulls on it. I'm like, I want to try that. And he looks at me like, you want to try that? I'm like, I want to try a few of those. And so by the end, he's just looking at me. He's like, I think I just misjudged you. I'm like, and when I lit it up, I said, man, this is a good cigar. So, yeah, you're right. Sometimes the perception is put on us that we want the sweet.
Yeah.
And the reality is, I've done some tough stuff, tougher than this.
Yeah.
This is not for the faint of heart. I will be honest.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I have done some tough stuff.
So I got a question for you.
Here we go. I'm getting asked. Go ahead.
I had to always ask him this. I know somebody's taking over her show, man.
That's okay. This is about you today. I like you.
I always ask everybody this question, and I want to put 3 parts to it in my mind.
Go right ahead.
One, when you first start smoking,
okay,
what was your first cigar?
Okay.
And since you like those full body cigars, what was the cigar you like? Good Lord, what am I smoking? What's that one like? Woo!
Okay.
That full body kind of like,
body?
that makes you kind of like think about it a little bit.
3 good questions. I've been smoking cigars since, I guess, about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And it was on the first date. Yes. We were scheduled to go on a date, we missed each other, and then he called and said, can we have a do-over? I said, sure.
Nice.
Then he asked, had I ever been to a cigar lounge or smoked a cigar? I was like, no, but I'll try anything once. So we went to smoke a cigar, and every time we went out, we had to go do cigars. So that was the beginning.
Okay.
And then what I found is that sometimes I'd be working late, and then I would end up kind of going to a different lounge each time I finished working around Dallas. So, but I was just enjoying the cigar itself, and just kind of the peace and ambiance that came with it. Now, the first one that I smoked, I did chocolate.
Okay.
Because I didn't, I'm thinking, I don't know. Give me something that at least will make me not dislike it, So I smoked chocolate for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point I stepped out of that and was like, you know what, I'm ready to try the non-flavored cigar.
Okay.
But I stayed with chocolate the entire time until I was ready to go into non. Now, you asked the magic question. You said, which one made me wonder what I was smoking. The LFD Double Ajero Double Digger.
Okay.
That bad boy on the first draw. But who was not backing down from the challenge was me.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest.
like that. There you go.
I was doing a live smoke off live on Facebook
Right.
against the guy in Florida.
Oh. Okay.
He always smoked these big sticks, and
Yeah.
everybody, you know, a lot of the people like that lady really smokes like the real stuff. So somebody says, hey, you should have a smoke off. So we did a smoke off.
Nice.
Now I'm gonna be honest, I won.
Right.
But I
Congratulations.
lost, yes, but I lost at the same time because if I knew I was in trouble on the first draw,
God.
that's a 4-hour stick, and I think I did it in an hour and a half. I was praying to the porcelain gods.
Oh man.
I was in that bathroom. I'm like, nobody else needs to even come in. I
Yeah.
owned the whole floor.
Yeah.
And I stayed there until the tobacco poisoning wore off.
Oh.
But yes, I smoked it, and then after that, I smoked it 3 more times,
Okay.
and I had no effects.
Okay. Yeah.
And I spaced it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah,
okay.
so I actually enjoy, and I can tell when I get up in the morning what I'm ready for. Like if I'm
Okay.
ready for something more mild,
Right.
or if I'm ready for something more full body. This morning when I walked in, having the honor to do this interview with you, to do it with all of the lounge owners in Dallas-Fort Worth, it's every time I step into it, if there's any ounce of nervousness, by the time I step in and say hi and remember why I love this place,
Yeah.
any fear and reservations go away,
Right.
and then I can tell where I am.
Yeah.
And I thought, I got BP battles. I thought, give me the tough shit, because
Yeah,
we're going down
Hey,
today.
let's do it.
So,
Hey, the honor is all mine. Best believe me. The honor is mine.
so now it's my turn,
Let's go.
because I actually own this interview.
Yeah, let's get it.
I want to know, because you started off talking about family.
Right.
You saw families connecting,
Yep.
dads and sons for birthdays, other family members sitting and smoking and having bonding moments.
Right.
But you never elaborated for us
Okay.
how the family matter tied into this for you, because you all create such a beautiful place for us to come,
Right.
those of us that really enjoy smoking.
Yeah.
I can do it at home.
Yeah.
Believe me, I have the whole menu set up at home.
Yeah.
But there's something about coming to the lounge.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to know for you, like I said, this is natural for me.
Yeah.
Something brought you to smoking. Something piqued your interest, started your
Yeah.
interest. And then something made you move into this.
Yeah.
And you've done, it's beautiful, beautiful layout. Tell me, how did you get started in cigars? But I want to know the family tie.
The family side.
The family tie. Because you said it, so we're going with it.
Yeah, okay, let's get it. Like I said, it really all started, like I said, with my grandfather. But what I did was, I knew that I had to, and I wanted to always be an entrepreneur. My great-grandfather, Gus Battles, was an entrepreneur. Matter of fact, he had a concrete company called Battles and Sons.
Okay.
And they built churches all over the south side of Fort Worth.
They built what?
Churches.
Churches.
Churches, sidewalks, buildings. And matter of fact, I believe he's the first black-owned concrete company in the history of Fort Worth.
So
Battles and Sons.
you came from a heritage, number one, of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
That's important.
Oh yes.
That's important.
Yes.
Okay. So he had a concrete company in Fort Worth.
Yes.
And tell me about, and you said the first black-owned concrete company in Fort Worth?
Yeah. And a brick. Concrete and brick.
So you pretty much had some things written for you
Yes.
that are pretty much a blueprint of where you could go.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
All right, so I want to hear about the cigar piece, the
Okay.
smoking piece,
Yeah.
because that in and of itself tells me a part of your background of how this started.
Yes.
Talk to me now about how you knew to start this instead of the concrete and the
Okay.
brick. Talk to me.
Yeah. So when I like I say I had that
Talk
first
to
Uzi
us.
West, so when I first smoked that Uzi West time, my first cigar. Thank you, Trace Show and Michael, by the way. He almost killed me. But it was a total user error. Total user error. So let's say after I thought that was the worst cigar, I went back to Tracy. He was with something milder, San Antonio, Connecticut, Lancero. And I was to call that my dog walker. I was smoking, walking my dog, smoking, working in the backyard. So my ex-wife at the time, my wife at the time, she was going on a trip to Boston. And she's like, well, you want to go on a trip to Boston? Sure. I'll go. Well, what are you going to do? I'll go visit cigar lounge. I want to know about the cigar thing. So I went to Boston and visited the third oldest cigar shop in the country, back down in Boston Commons.
Oh, wow.
And I sat there and just talked to a couple guys, talked to the owner, like, oh, this cigar thing is kind of cool. So they shoot us going to Chicago. Like, he took me to Chicago for my birthday.
Okay.
I cheered for the Bulls and the Lakers. So we went down there and went to the first oldest cigar shop in the country. You know, I always look up when I'm traveling where a cigar shop is. So when I always go visit a cigar shop. And I saw that like, oh man, this is cool. So, all right, I'm really kind of getting into cigars. So what I started doing was I had like cigar dossier that I kept. That I will keep my labels, next to each other. I'll also put the tasting notes of what I thought. I'll match those up to what the experts would say and see if my palate was right on. When I first started smoking, I was totally off. I wasn't getting all those flavors that they were getting, like the hay, the white pepper, the dark pepper. I wasn't getting any of those because I just had to build my palate yet. So then next trip, travel. So I basically traveled for 2.5 years from New Hampshire, Vermont, went to Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, down to Orlando, went to California. So I traveled all these different states, and sometimes went with my wife, sometimes went by myself, because I wanted to get the full cigar experience. I wanted to talk to the cigar aficionado, the cigar owners, the cigar enthusiasts. So on those travels, I started finding a love for cigars. So I'm like, you know what? I've been thinking about something to do entrepreneur-wise. Why not over the cigar lounge?
And so your very first experience was traveling with your wife at that time to the different cigar lounges.
Yes.
Did any of the smoking tie into your family at all?
At that point, it was just family with traveling with her.
Yeah.
Because she works for Fidelity and I work for TD Ameritrade. So I think when we both were always traveling, we were always gone. So by now that I left TD Ameritrade, so with Fidelity, we'd be able to get and spend more family time together by traveling with each other. So it's like, okay, we're traveling, it's something we could do. But it was still always an homage to my grandfather.
That's what I want to hear about. How was it an homage to your grandfather? I want to know.
Growing up in a single parent household, my mom always worked all the time. I never had that father figure at home.
Okay.
So what I've always wanted was that sit down and have that manly conversation with my father.
Okay.
Well, father, I never could have that. My father was murdered at age 3.
He was what?
Murdered at age 3.
When you were 3?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was here for it. So the only other meal I really had was my grandfather. So I needed to do something that connected us. Like I said, my grandfather was a tough man.
Yes.
Growing up deep south, poor, in Marvin, Texas, and then going off to war and then coming back. My grandfather had to take care of the family. He had about 5 kids. So the thing was that I wanted something that could bond us together.
Right.
So I had to find something. It wasn't sports. My grandfather was into sports.
Okay.
He always went to church, so church was always a family thing. But I need something just for me and him.
Okay.
And when I started discovering that he smoked pipes, then that made me, okay, well, let me try the pipe cigar thing. And so cigars always brought me to this is something I think that me and him could do.
Wow.
That could grow us closer. But like I said before, he died early of prostate cancer before I could really get started on it back in 1999. So this is my way of having every cigar I like. I think my grandfather first.
All right.
So that ties me back into the family aspect of it. So I'm doing it in honor of him, and I think about him and what the conversation I probably would have had with him.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. If you had a conversation with your grandfather about why he smoked pipes and why he smoked cigars, have that conversation with me just for a moment. Not as in depth because it is private. But have that conversation with me for a moment, and this is what I would like. I would like for you to tell our audience, what would you ask your grandfather about why he smoked cigars, why he smoked pipes?
Yeah. So if I would ask Granddad, I would say, first of all, Granddad, you gonna make those chicken and biscuits like you do every Saturday morning? You know, we need to have a conversation. So you gotta make these great homemade biscuits and chicken every Saturday morning. That was the greatest thing ever with rice. And I would sit and ask him, Granddad, what made you start smoking cigars?
Okay. And what do you think he would say?
I think it would go back to
knowing
the time.
what you know
Yeah,
now
yeah,
about looking back at that,
Yeah.
because you never got a chance to ask him.
yeah.
What do you think his answer would be as far as why he started?
I think his answer would say that when he was in World War II, coming off tour, I think he was looking for something to
Oh, wow.
ease his mind from,
Oh, wow.
getting shot at, serving your country, just needing something to decompress from those moments.
Wow.
And I think the pipe was his way, maybe his company way, and the other people's way of just breaking away from it for at least a little
So
time.
really kind of breaking up some of
Yeah.
that PTSD.
Yeah, breaks up from that.
You know what? You said a mouthful.
Yeah,
Because isn't it amazing how even back then the purpose it served
yeah.
has found its way for us now for the exact same purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I smoke strictly for decompressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he would tell you that was his way
Yeah.
of kind of just settling his mind,
Yeah.
decompressing
Yeah.
from everything he experienced.
Yeah. I think that's what he told me. Yes.
Wow. Did any of his friends smoke with him? Was he the only smoker?
No, I think he gathered together for this park called Kyle Park. They would sit out there and smoke pipe. And one thing like people always ask me, especially a couple of cigar manufacturers come in, and one I would speak directly to was Steve Saka. He owns Dunbar Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Saka, man, I'm a huge fan of his. He makes fantastic cigars. But Steve is like me, man. I'm a nerd of cigars. I want to know as much as I possibly can. And Steve, man, he loves his industry, and I love the industry as well. Steve came in and asked us one day, man, he just wanted to know about the why there's so many black smoking cigars. And he was asking as in the point of, and really want to know, not in a derogatory way, but just want to know, Steve wants to know about every smoker.
Okay.
You know, from if it's from whites, black, women, young kids. He wants to know his market so he can better serve that market.
Oh wow.
He really is. He really loves cigars. So he asked me that, and I'm like, well, a lot of blacks have smoked cigars for many years, but we just didn't have a mainstream place where we can go smoke. But we smoke in our backyard. We smoke in garages. We smoke in juke joints.
Yeah.
We smoke in the back of clubs. So blacks been smoking cigars for a while. We just really never had any public place where we can go to smoke. And that was another reason why I wanted to start my own cigar lounge, so we could have a place where we could come and smoke. And yes, my cigar is black owned, but it's not the black cigar lounge. It's for everyone. But I want to make sure that we had a place where we can feel comfortable, that we can be proud of, and that it's represented well.
And you have done it. You have done it.
Trying to do it. Trying to do
Yeah.
it.
But I know what I look for when I go to lounges.
Yeah.
And everything you just described, this suits it very well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The beauty, the furniture, to come here, you really should, if you haven't been, please come and experience it, because you will love the coziness, the quaintness of it. I love the fact that when I've been here before, my daughter and I could sit and we could have a conversation.
Yeah.
She tried a cigar that day.
How did it work out for us? Did you get the experience I had, or did you
No, I had kind of told her, so she was real, just kind of short puffs and kind of quick releases,
She did a whole lot better than I did my first.
She wasn't really into it, and that was okay. But she's seen, and this part I'll speak on me just a tad.
Good.
She's seen the strength of a strong mother.
Yes.
She's seen me overcome and accomplish a lot of things.
Yes.
And her mind is already, kind of fascinated. Like, I don't have to search around for a female role model. My mom has done some amazing things.
Yeah.
And then I think now when she saw me sitting here smoking, that day it's the first time she's seen me smoking, she was kind of like, you're one bad chick.
My mom's a badass.
And I know she felt like, she's like, okay, I already felt that about you now.
Yes.
And to me, I'm going to be honest, I feel a certain power when I smoke a cigar.
Yes.
I feel a power of femininity.
Yes.
And to me, the lounge itself, that's why I love certain ones. Like, I want to smoke.
Right.
I understand that, most guys are the ones that do this during the day.
Right.
I enjoy their company.
Yes.
Because I had a fabulous relationship with my dad. But I think also, too, I want to feel I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I want to feel like the baddest chick in the room when I light up the cigar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get to feel that feminine side, but I also get to feel that powerful side.
Right. Right.
And so when I have those conversations with those gentlemen when I come in, that definitely, just kind of like, yeah, we got that connection piece, like you were saying.
Yes.
Something that they look and they're like, okay, you're not smoking the easy stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have great conversation after that. So, but the lounge is the basis for those dialogues to start.
Right.
Otherwise, maybe we would never have those conversations.
Yeah. And I'm glad you touched on a lot of stuff because growing up in a single parent household, with my mom is that you look for things to see as a young man of how to become a young man.
All right.
And most men seek out other men. And well, my mom had to drop out of college her first year to make way for me. But when you see women who smoke cigars, I don't see dainty young girls. I see strong, powerful women, just like you mentioned yourself. It's just something about seeing a woman pick up that cigar, and she has this beautiful, regal look to herself. And all the Sisters of Belief, they are, the word I want to use is they're in their own careers. They're accomplished in their own careers, whatever their career may be.
Right.
And when they walk into a cigar lounge, they walk in with so much grace, so much power, so much presence,
Yes.
that they change the mood of the whole room.
Yes.
I don't care what ethnicity you are or what your background is. When that woman walks in the room, she knows that she commands that room and commands that respect.
Yes.
And I love it. And you talk about the furniture here. One of the reasons that I built the furniture, made the furniture, or whatever, so women could be comfortable. This space on call for 2 smoke areas, I put in 4.
Yeah.
Because I know women are very particular about their hair and their clothes. And I love the way cigars smell, but I like the way cigars smell on me. But I knew that to get them on the clientele, that I have to make sure I have great smoke areas so women feel comfortable coming in.
So you got that ventilation system.
Yeah, ventilation
double
system. Yeah,
what was
double.
required,
Yeah, double was required.
so that we would be comfortable.
Yeah, so you guys will be comfortable.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the smoke in my hair. You know what? I've already determined. My man definitely, hey,
there you go.
If you don't smoke cigars, we might just be friends.
Doc, you made a great choice, by the way. Good choice. But yeah, it's women are phenomenal, and I just love it, man. I love that they feel comfortable coming here, and I want to let everybody know that we coming in here that we do respect them to come in here. And we did Fort Worth Weekly did an article of us a couple years back. We won Cigar of the Year at Fort Worth.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
What was it? Cigar Lounge of the Year?
Yeah, in Fort Worth. It was totally shocked to us. I found out through email. I had no idea. But in the article they wrote that, I guess when sometimes when we're walking around, is that people are thinking like, what you doing here?
Yes.
But with us, it was like, hey, how you doing? Come on in. What can we do for you? And this is how we are. And I'm glad that you know that they can feel that way coming in. And
Yes.
every woman should feel comfortable coming into each cigar lounge, just like every male should feel comfortable coming in to cigar lounge. And there's a lot of great cigar lounges around DFW. You've been to all of them?
Boom!
And I said that she's fantastic, by the way. But yeah.
I just told him I've been to every single lounge in DFW.
You got me beat because I've hit a lot, but not as many as I would like to. Especially since owning this, I'm here about 80 hours a week.
Wow.
But it's a lot of fantastic shops out there. One of my favorites is definitely Michael's and Mueller's.
Yes,
and
I've been there.
My man Kanono with the fly guy in the room, Tommy Black. Tommy, what's up, my guy?
So let me ask you this: Did you notice how I lit my cigar?
Yeah.
You notice I was trying to get that real even light,
Yeah,
and I've got an
right
even burn, even halfway through.
Beautiful.
Tommy
And you also
Black.
turn your cigar when you smoke it.
Yes.
So it's the key to cigar. You never want your cigar to move where it's been burned on one side and not the other. You keep smoking and turning every time. You get a nice, beautiful, even burn on it. And they'll let you know there's great construction, great quality.
Yes.
In a cigar, or the people at JRE, man, they really know what they're doing. They're making amazing cigars right now. I'm just so proud of what they're doing, man. There's a lot of great boutique rooms out there.
One of the things I love about listening to you you mentioned other cigar lounges
Mhm.
in this interview. And the reason that I'm doing the interviews is simply and strictly solely to promote all of the lounges in DFW.
Yes. Yes.
So that people will know that they're out here if they didn't know.
Right.
And we're all in this together.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? We're all in this together.
Yeah.
If the lounges are gonna stay, one cannot stand alone. I don't care how bad you are.
Yeah. You can't stand
We
alone.
all need all of the lounges.
Yes.
Because I can imagine my life without lounges.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be pretty. Okay? Now that's just like saying, imagine yourself not smoking a cigar, now slap yourself and don't ever do it again.
Yeah.
So I will say this. The fact that you are mentioning Michaels and Euless,
Yeah.
you are mentioning Cunoma.
Yes.
Which other one did you mention?
Blowing Smoke, Alina Coach. She just got her jersey retired at her high school.
Yes, I saw that.
Coach, congratulations.
You
Coach
also
badass.
mentioned another cigar lounge that you went to here.
Oh, I used to go to a lot of them.
But there was one that you said you went to, I think, first to kind of see.
I think it was Michael's.
And then there was another one. But when you got ready to start up, I think you went.
Okay.
The one that you said asked questions about why people, why so many black people smoke cigars.
Oh no, that was Steve Saka, the
Steve
owner
Saka.
of Dunbar Cigar. He
Dunbar, yes.
Dunbar,
You
yeah.
mentioned Dunbar.
Yeah.
So, I'm loving that because my job, I feel like I've made it my job
Yes.
with all of this, is to promote the lounges.
Yes.
And then to hear the other lounge owners speak about the lounges that had an impact on them, that
Yes.
influenced them, that gave them a memory, that makes a difference. This is literally what it's all about for me. Not saying, I don't compare lounges. This is what makes this lounge unique. And I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, because I've a lot of cigar shop owners allowed me when I was a new smoker to come into their shop and sit on their couch and eat up their electricity and watch their TV. Because I would sit there for hours,
Yeah.
and I would just wait for different people to come in. And there's only two places that I, being an extrovert, and feel comfortable was in a basketball court or in a cigar lounge, because I'm an introvert by nature. When I'm with my family, I'm normally the quietest person in the room. I really don't say that much. But you put me in a cigar environment, and I probably won't shut up because you're just so intrigued and you want to learn more, and
Yes.
it's just such a great environment to be in. So, from like you said, you've been to all the lounges, man. I'm impressed. I've been to Monte Cristo Lounge, I've been to Blue Smoke, I've been out to Smoking Jacket, I've been to a lot of cigar lounges out there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of popping up, and I'm just so proud of each and every one of those cigar lounges. I've been to Sippers downtown, so I'm just a cigar nerd, man, and I'm not afraid to say that. I just love being in those environments, sitting on the couches, and just having those great conversations over a great cigar.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do other stuff too.
Yeah. Well, and to me, that's the cool thing is by the time you even learn more about somebody you're sitting at a lounge smoking with, you've already created a bond, a conversation, some laughter, some memories, some common connecting points in life. That by the time you learn anything else, you've already made that friend.
Yes.
And to me, that's the most genuine friendship to make. I think so many times we meet people, we are putting our best foot forward, we're shaking hands,
Right.
we're wanting to say that impressive thing.
Yes.
When you come to the lounge, like you said, you're more of an introvert,
Yes.
but then when you go to lounges, you become more of that extrovert.
Yes.
When you watch
Totally.
basketball, you become more of that extrovert. For me, I went deep introvert when I went to the lounge. Don't talk to me. The first hour, I'm off limits. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I also enjoyed the sports.
Right.
So if I go to a lounge that's not playing sports during sports season, we have a problem.
The travesty of it all.
The travesty of it all. We have a problem.
Yeah.
I smoke cigars and I like to watch sports.
Yes. Isn't that a great time? Talk a little trash, Yeah.
Yes.
Like you talked trash about my 49ers earlier.
Yes, I did. Because I was rooting for Kansas City.
Boo to that.
So I'm going to say this. Since Kaepernick took a knee, I did not watch football because he was trying to send a message.
Yes.
I don't care how distorted it got, how twisted it got, what people had to say. He just had a message to deliver.
Yes.
Something important.
Yes.
And he did it peacefully.
Yes.
But I'm going to say this. the message that he was sending, I understood. I understood from a very simple, basic standpoint. And it's obvious why. But when I went to a lounge and sat down, and Kansas City was playing Houston.
Right.
I'm smoking, the TVs are huge, they're playing, and I'm just sitting there smoking, and I look up, and they were down 21-0, right?
Boy.
And I'm thinking, I started laughing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Kansas City just handed the game away
Yeah,
in the first quarter.
Yeah, they didn't show up at all.
You didn't show up. You about to just get waxed, right?
At home.
At home. And I'm smoking a cigar. Next thing I know, I'm laughing. I'm laughing more. I am fully entertained by the fact that Kansas City walked the dog on Houston, and Houston laid down and took it like a little punk. I'm going to give it to them.
Took all of it.
But you know what? I will say this. Even if you want to say Houston didn't take it like a punk, Kansas City let them know there ain't nothing you can do about it. And then they commenced to whooping that ass. That was hilarious. And then I saw the next game after that. And I found myself still chuckling and smoking. Like, you could see the plays coming, and you're like, they're just eating them up. Kansas City left people feeling like, we're going to whoop you. And when I'm done, you're going to say, you're going to call me daddy. And they called him daddy. And then when I watched the Super Bowl, I was so mad. I could only watch the first few minutes because I had some other stuff to do. And let me tell you, I was chuckling on my way out the door, just shaking my head because I'm like, you know what? They are not playing today. So I felt it was time to come back to watching football, just because Kansas City, like Golden State in basketball, they bring a level to the game that just made it just fun to watch.
I'll say this: congratulations to all the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs organization. Great season to my Niners. Hey, you know what?
The Niners got there, so it's not even a diss to the Niners. You got there.
We know what's so crazy about it? I've never seen this in sports ever. We were terrible last year. Terrible. We got a number 2 overall pick. We were like 3-13. What team goes from the second overall pick to the Super Bowl, win the NFC East? I mean, winning the NFC and going to the Super Bowl. It's never happened before.
You know what?
So I'm proud of my boys.
Oh yeah, and you should be, because everybody didn't even get to the final arena.
Especially Cowboy fans.
Hey, be careful. Those are deadly.
Oh, I know. I know. I feel somebody reaching through the screen and punch me in the jaw right now. My bad. Cowboy fan, you still my guys. See you guys next year. Matter of fact, Dallas and San Fran. San Fran's coming here. Jerry World.
Oh, okay.
So we'll want to go to the game. Let me know. I'll go with you. Let's do it. But Cowboys, I think, going to have, God, I hate I'm saying this. I think they're a new coach, man. I think they'll have a great year next year.
Who, the 49ers?
No, the Cowboys.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, with Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
I think the Cowboys going to have a good year.
Well, you know, I mean, we're not necessarily hating on the Cowboys or the other team, but I'm just going to say this, Cowboys fans, y'all are hilarious, especially when you lose, because you keep faith to the end. Even when there's no hope left, the Cowboys fans are going to hold out all hope. And what cracked me up this Super Bowl, they wore their Cowboys jerseys.
You know they were.
Boldly saying, hey, it's Super Bowl, Cowboys still in the house.
They are loyal to a fault. They will ride. They will ride with you. Win or lose, they ride. But I hate to say it, man. I was hoping we get our 6 this year, because they have a good chance of maybe getting there next year.
So my next question to you.
What you got?
About the Cigar Lounge.
Okay.
And I don't want details.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's trade secret.
All right.
Do you see more of what you're doing?
I thought about
simple yes or no.
Yes, actually working on that. Finding his face. We hit our 4th year in April 16th, our 4th year anniversary.
Oh, you've only been here 4 years?
Yeah. And,
before this April.
Yeah, before the April.
Okay.
And
so that's about the time I started smoking.
Okay, So I'm finally doing an anniversary party. I haven't did one yet, because I want to make sure it was at a point of where we're having great success, and that I worked all my business plan before I celebrated.
Businessman.
So we're finally out of phase 2. We're getting ready to go to phase 3, so I figured it's time to go ahead and start celebrating everybody who's come through those doors.
I love it.
Yes, I do see another one coming. We're in the works of that now.
Okay.
Location will be a great location.
Growth and
bigger
expansion.
Yeah, bigger place.
But you'll keep this one?
Yeah, this will always be our flagship because I'm from this neighborhood. My quote-unquote first shop by myself is in my old neighborhood.
Oh, right.
And I want to bring back something to the community. But I did partner up with some guys, and we bought a Perfected Cigar Lounge over there off of 30 in Collins,
Yeah.
and we turned it into the Reserve. So we did that, but unfortunately that shop didn't last. So I branched out on my own and started this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's some things I asked of you when I was questioning that you broadened my, and what I'm loving about doing these interviews is the learning that comes.
Right.
I've met you,
Mm-hmm.
but to have this talk with you,
Yeah.
I'm beginning to understand who you are.
Okay.
And that's what's important to me, and that's what's important to let the people know that not only are they supporting something that they love,
Right.
that they're supporting something that from someone's experience,
Yes.
which speaks to why we end up with great places like this.
Okay.
Because it had deep connections from
Yes.
for you, from your family, like from your granddad.
Yeah.
You never got to smoke with him,
Yes.
and I felt honored.
Yeah.
And thank you for trusting me
Yeah.
to ask that question on camera of what would you ask him about why he started, since you
Yeah.
never got to have it, since he died of prostate cancer
Yeah.
before you could, but you had already begun to try to get into that,
Yeah.
to develop that bond with him when it was right.
Right.
And I love that, and that's probably the most moving thing I've heard out of all of the interviews I've done so far.
Okay.
And I don't encourage people to smoke, but what I realize people already smoke it. But
I love
the
it
one
too.
thing I will say is that
Yeah.
I definitely kind of realize that I'm an influence in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And I want that influence to be in full support
Mhm.
of what you do. The main thing too is that these shops, as I learned, are built from people's, like you said, your business plan,
Mhm.
your blueprints. They are built from your life experience,
Yes.
your life memories. And what better way? I could tell one or two people, hey, I went to this awesome cigar lounge,
Yes.
but I guarantee you nobody's made it here because I said it.
Right.
So that's when I came up with the idea to do it here on camera, because then guess what? You have my whole audience.
Yes.
And then when I send you to YouTube in a few hours,
Right.
guess what? You have a bigger audience.
Appreciate
So-
that. I'm honored.
I appreciate you, and I'm honored, and I just can't say enough. Thank you for trusting me to do this. Thank you for allowing me to get your message, your story, just the awareness of your lounge's presence out there for
Right.
people that might not have known, or somebody that said, hey, you know what, I heard about that place, never been there.
Yeah.
I was at Cunoma's, I went to D&B Cigar Corner's 6-year anniversary.
The Godfather.
The Godfather,
The
yes.
Godfather.
I
Tim
went-
Davis is the Godfather.
I got to go to his 6-year anniversary party at his lounge this weekend.
Okay.
Didn't realize Cunoma was also approaching their year, so they had been posting on Facebook
Right.
that it was their year anniversary as well. So I popped over there, and while I was there, one lady walks up to me. She goes, "I know you," and she
Yeah.
goes, "You're fancy." She said, "I saw your interview." She said, "You are amazing," And but what she said,
So true.
thank you. What she said the things you spoke about, the
Right.
things you talked about, she said they were my experience when I come here too.
Okay.
And that was just an amazing, moving moment.
Yeah.
And she and I befriended on Facebook that night, and I gave her a little gift, and she was just like, "Oh my!" So to me, I felt like we're already doing it.
Yeah.
Let's do it in style.
Yes.
Just like these lounge owners, you are doing it in style. You are giving us an experience that we can do in style. I feel like I can come in here in my workout clothes, tennis shoes.
Yes.
If I want to come in a dress and some
Yes.
heels, however I want to come, you guys give us that opportunity to to do what we're going to do in style.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And we always tell people that when you come into Cigar Lounge, and I also tell cigar shop owners, we have to create an environment and also a platform to bring you into the lounge. Because I'll be honest, the best place to smoke cigar is either on your back patio, your front porch, or in your garage. Everybody had their little setup. I used to have me these 5 leather reclining chairs that I had in my garage, and that was my sanctuary place where I'll go eat the grass and smoke cigars. But then like there's a lot of cool cigar lounges out there where it's sometimes where I want to be social. And you want to meet different people.
Yes.
You want to, my nerd is to go where I want to see people think about cigars, what they experience with cigars, what are they smoking.
Okay.
So I like, I didn't get out and start visiting more cigar now.
Yeah.
And we need to create that environment that makes you feel comfortable, that make you feel appreciated, that make you feel welcome. I always try to say when you come in here, as you tell me, I always ask, say, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the boardroom, because we want people to feel like they come into my home.
Yeah.
And that they're welcome there and sit here and be relaxed. And
keep talking. I'm just, you just took me to another level. Keep talking. Don't stop, please.
And that's what we create. And every cigar shop owner is passionate about it. It's not easy being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner. It's hard out here. But we do it and we get up every day, we work long hours, but we want to bring something that's special to you because we appreciate your business. And every small business owner and every cigar shop owner out there, one thing about it is you have to have in common first to be a successful cigar lounge. You have to love this. And you have to love the knowledge of this. And like I say, me an introvert, a lot of time I'm here and I'm quiet, I'm by myself. But if you had me come to be more extroverted, because that's what was needed. So it took me out of my comfort zone, and I've met a lot of fantastic, great people that have come to the lounge. And one of the things why we do introduce everybody here, we call ourselves like the modern day cheers. Because I don't care if you're white or you're black or Hispanic or you're a woman or whatever your political background is or whatever your sexual orientation is. I don't care less as long as you have goodwill and you enjoy cigars. Because we want to bridge those gaps of society of when you see people walking down the street that either clutch your purse or you'll go across the street because you see this particular person coming. I want you to say, hey, I met someone like that at the boardroom and we had a great conversation. Yes. We had a lot more similarities than we had differences. And then you start healing people a way they think they won't be so judgmental towards one another.
Absolutely.
And then we start healing our communities, our cities, and our country. And if I can do that at one cigar or one whiskey at a time, then I think my work is done. But it's a good place of bringing people together, and that's what we're going to continue to try to do and try to achieve here at the boardroom. But we're so blessed that any one person out there is so excited about it.
Well, I'm going to tie together everything you just said because you said a mouthful. You said something that actually almost made me inhale, which means that you made me take a breath in the middle of puffing a cigar.
Right.
But taking that breath was a wow, aha, thank you moment. You said when we do this, you want the people to feel like they can come into like your home.
Yes.
And I don't think you could have gotten it any better. People don't go where they're uncomfortable.
Yes.
They go where they feel like they can sit down as if they are at home relaxing, having that conversation. The other thing you said is it draws people together.
Yes.
It helps you get rid of any barriers, any preconceived ideas and notions you have about each other.
Yes.
You begin to bond. You said, hey, understanding the cigar. It made me want to expand on that, understanding your product, but also understanding how that product makes people feel.
Yes.
I don't smoke cigars because, they're just cute to do.
Yeah.
I get a certain feeling when I'm smoking a cigar.
Right.
And you gave me a place to do it. And then the other piece you said, one cigar, one whiskey at a time.
Yes.
All you talked about was a way to bring people together, and then you gave us a place to do it, to come together and do those things. And I cannot say enough that, and then you touched on, like I was saying, this is natural to me.
Yes.
Like you said, and I know I'm more of an introvert, although I may have to put that little title to rest because from here forward,
Yes.
she no longer exists.
Yeah.
Okay? She can't. Not to get this message out there like I'm trying to get. I have to be out front and center.
Yes.
And I understand that. And I have a great support system that is helping me transition very well into that. And you said, hey, I have to come out of that introvert. I have to become that more extroverted person because you got to talk to people.
Yes.
You got to find out what it is they want, what it is they need.
Yes.
Then you have to meet that.
Yes.
So, to me, you and I are already on one accord.
Right.
We're going to be brothers and sisters of the League for
Yeah,
life.
I look forward to that. Yeah, because when you go to cigar, especially ours, we want to make sure you also have that experience. So when you go to the Judo with you, we're not trying to, as some people would say, trolling you,
Right.
but we want to make sure we get you the perfect cigar for what you're trying to achieve at that particular moment. We always ask the questions, we like something mild, medium body, full body. And then we're going to ask you, if you choose a full body cigar, we're going to ask you, have you eaten today? Because smoking a full body cigar on the empty stomach can turn out bad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then once you pick that cigar, we want to ask you what you're going to be drinking. Because we want to make sure we pair the right cigar with the right spirit, or vice versa. Because when you get the right cigar and you get that flavor profile that hits your palate with the alcohol you're going to be drinking for that day,
Yeah.
it just takes your experience to a whole other level. And the Bourbon, we're trying to be a destination place. That when you come into the DFW area, we're done into a smoke. And we want the first thing to come out your
Love
mouth
it.
is, hey, we need to go buy the Bourbon.
I love
Because
it.
you get that total experience from not only the cigar, but also the pairing of a whiskey, bourbon, scotch, or even beer. That's
So
going to
you do
happen.
pairings too.
Yeah, we do
And
pairings
you
as well.
seem to have a good knowledge of it. And that's fabulous. Instead of saying, hey, I do have something to drink. It's like, what are you looking for?
What are you looking for,
What
right.
are you trying to experience?
Exactly.
And then, hey, maybe I can get you the right drink to go with that right cigar.
Oh, exactly.
So-
And for everybody out there, I'm asking if you've ever done it before.
Okay.
Have you ever took a cigar and took a nice bite of chocolate
Oh, yes.
and then puff that cigar?
I usually keep a big
Yeah.
a big bar of dark chocolate in the humidor.
Yeah, and it takes you to a whole nother level. Now, say let's pair that with a nice scotch that's aged in
I can see that.
either bourbon cask or rum cask, and it'll take you to a whole nother level of that experience. Especially if you're drinking out of a plain current glass, you bring that glass up to your nose, you get all those aromas through your senses up your nose, and then you puff on that cigar, and you just inhale just a little bit.
This
especially
man
if you
here.
Especially if you retro hail.
Yeah.
You get that explosion of flavors from the cigar and also from that spirit, and it just
All
it's
right.
just, it just doesn't like it.
You
It's
just
it's great.
took me to so many levels today.
Yeah, it's just great.
And I'm glad, and I guess the last piece I want to tie in before I allow you to take one question at me was you started talking about how you saw families bonding together here,
Yes.
and then you tied into how your experience actually came from the fact that your grandfather was smoking.
Right.
And then I talked about my daughter coming in here with me. That being said, now I want to close out. If you had any question you want to ask me as the closing piece to this interview, now's the time to ask.
Oh.
Because
This
I
is
might not
down
let you
to-
ask otherwise.
This is now the BP Battle Show.
And it is truly his show today.
I can't do as great as Fancy's doing. I'm not even going to even try to attempt that because she's killing it right now, and I'm so proud and thankful for it. But one thing that I want to ask you is, like you asked me earlier, so how many of these shows, I think you said you have done 8 or 9 thus far, and you've been to every DFW shopping DFW?
You're number 9.
Okay, number 9. Number 9 is a great number, by the way.
Yes, it is.
49ers
49ers tag.
Yeah. Do you plan on expanding this out to different arenas, doing different segments of it? Because I would love, I think you'd be wonderful at doing like a cigar 1-on-1 class or doing like a pairing class. I think you'll knock that out of the box. Do you have any aspirations of doing things of that nature? Because you'll be fantastic at it.
I have some fabulous and definitely extended aspirations, but I will say this, just for the absolute record.
Yeah.
my first and foremost priority is to make sure I nail every single lounge in
Nice.
BFW first.
Yeah.
Now I think other things will develop behind the scenes like you're doing,
Right.
but I want nothing that interferes with or takes away
Right.
from these lounges having their spotlight moment like
Right.
today.
Yeah.
Nothing. The rest
That's
of it
amazing.
can come. That's great.
It's amazing.
But this is priority one
Yeah.
until we cross that finish line of that very last one being interviewed.
I love it. And when you first called me, and the closer we got to this date, my introvertness started taking over. Like, you need to call her back and say, hey, you're not doing this. You know, because I'm always like that. I'm always gung ho, but the closer it is, the introvert's coming like, nah, you need to do this. But then I sit back and thought about it 2 days ago. I was like, this is too important
Yes, it is.
to tell,
Yes,
call her and
it
say,
is.
hey, no, we can't do that. Plus, I've already given you my word, and when I give my word, I'm going to do it. But it's so important to the culture of cigar smokers.
Yes.
It's so important to lounge smokers. And I'm so honored to do it. And just the way you promote it and you present it is fantastic. So all you cigar shop owners, when you get that phone call, it's not one of those crazy calls that we get on a daily basis. Because we
Yeah.
all probably get about 8 or 9 of these
Yeah.
spam calls all day long. I believe it comes from the 903 number. Yeah, you see the 903 number, pick that phone call up because it's important. Somebody's important on the other end, and make sure you do it. But just into the cigar culture, to the culture of seeing a powerful, beautiful black woman leading
Thank you.
and presenting this platform,
Thank you.
it's just amazing. It's awesome. I just love it. I don't know how much more I can say about it, but I just love that you're doing this. And only thing that I ask, don't put me behind Tommy Black, man. You know,
You were
I'm
not
saying
behind
that Tommy Black, man.
Somebody else came behind Tommy.
You know, man, Tommy
Yeah.
Black too clean, man. You know, that man is sharp, man. That's a bad brother, man. You know, I'm sitting here trying to say, okay, I may be behind Tommy Black. I gotta go shopping. I gotta try to clean up. I gotta hit the gym, man. But Tommy Black, man, I met Tommy one time, man. We hit it off instantly. Just a cool cat, man, a cool brother, man, and I'm so proud of what he's doing over there. I'm proud of all the cigar lounges and all this.
But I'm gonna say this: you can't dress like him and
Who
still
can?
do what makes Boardroom what it is and who you are. That's the cool thing I like about this. There will be no comparisons whatsoever.
Yeah.
There will be, hey, this one offers that one offers this, and I should be there.
And that's the great thing about all the cigar lounges. Everybody has their own niche. They have their own thing, so no one's in competition with one another because everybody is their own Mount Rushmore, as you may say. Every cigar shop has their own Mount Rushmore. And some people gonna gravitate to one cigar, some people find something like, cigar lounge. Some people gonna find something like another cigar lounge, just like cigars. You're gonna find something in each cigar that you're gonna fall in love with.
Yeah.
But one thing about it, you still smoking. You know, so no matter where you go visit different lounges. Go to the humidor and patronize those different lounges because that's important. Because that's how we keep the lights on. That's how we keep all these beautiful amenities together. That's how we're able to keep the games going. That's how we're able to branch out and do more things and maybe even come up with different more lounges out there.
Yes.
So make sure you guys always do that. Support the small business owner because it's important. Because everybody's dollar turns out into other things. And the more we keep turning our dollars, the more better things we be able to offer in those cigar lounges. That makes it a more inspiring, more experience for everyone. Also, besides going to all these lounges and you want to put out front the cigar shop owner, did it come from the conversations you was having, sitting in those different lounges, that hey, people need to know more about the different owners and the different cigar lounges out there? How did that all start?
It started because I realized how I travel in life.
Okay.
I realized how my life is set up and how it's been, we can think the things we want to do, we can imagine, we can dream.
Right.
Sometimes you got to look at the reality of what
Yes.
your life is really doing.
Yeah.
When I look at the reality of my life from now, prior to now, it has a distinct a distinct movement about it. Very distinct. And instead of fighting it, you just go with it. And so when I looked and I thought, you know what? When I've walked into lounges and the owners and the employees and even the patrons were like, wow, who is this woman?
Right.
And I'm like, I just smoke cigars like you. They felt something different.
Right.
And whether I've stepped into maybe 2 or 3, where the welcome was not as warm, that's okay, because I love to say it doesn't matter what the experience is. When I first walk in, you're going to love me when I walk out.
Hey.
And you're going to be inviting me back. And I'm happy to say that every single one has welcomed me back, like, please come back. But in that, I thought, wow, you know, that experience that they have, and I'm thinking, I'm affecting people and not even trying to.
Right.
And I thought, but I don't travel with a crowd.
Yes.
So I thought, well, how do you let people know? Like, I walk into a lounge, they're like, dang, they killed it in here. You know, for their setup, they killed it. I'm like, okay, how do you let people know?
Right.
And I was like, but you just kind of, so I tell a friend, I tell 2 friends, you know, but I find I don't know a lot of people that smoke.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, you really kind of not helping what you love. And I thought, I know exactly what I can do. I got a Facebook page. We going for it. So that's how it got. I'm like, I know a way to get the word out there a lot broader than me, myself, and the way my life moves.
Okay.
Can ever do it by myself. Okay. And so then I went for it. And that's where it started. And my main thing, I just have fun. Yeah. I have fun. When I get in front of the camera, the introvert goes away. Because my mind is, make him shine, make her shine. Yes. And I can't do that if I'm going to be closed and introverted. So I have to put that particular piece of luggage aside. I have my introvert moments. They become fewer and fewer now. Like you said, now that I've gotten the hang of what I'm doing, understand it. Now when I go to lounge, I don't necessarily have to have my album.
Yeah, I love that.
I now want to, like you said, I want to socialize.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm there. So that's where it started for me. Okay. And because it was so important to get the message out, that was more important than feeling like I'm an introvert. Okay. So does that answer your question?
It did.
He asked a good question.
So do you have a go-to cigar that you're like your everyday smoker, or
oh
cigar
God,
you smoke it at the time?
Yes, I do, because I think I did a live interview one day on my page, just me personally, not an interview of a lounge, and I was actually saying that, you know, you can go broke behind this.
Oh yeah.
As much as I was moving around, yeah, you could go broke behind this. And I will say this, I have gone broke probably 2 or 3 times. But my message to people then and now, love it, but do not go broke behind it.
Yeah.
So I had this magnificent friend when I was smoking at a lounge. He said, hey, try this cigar. And it wasn't sweet, but it had a sweet tip.
Okay.
And it was smooth. And I was like, yeah, I can smoke 3 or 4 of these a day, you know. And then when he told me the cost of them, I'm like, shit, I'll take a bundle. Okay? It brought it into the range where I could afford it. Okay. Now, what I still, so as far as the go-to every day is the definitely the inexpensive ones, but they are very quality. Now, and they're less than $4 a cigar. Yes. But don't get me wrong now. I have 4 humidors at home. 2 are in use. And when I open those humidors, they are filled with the stuff that I'm only going to get down with when I'm sitting in special occasions. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So I have those brands at home. Of course, when I go to the lounges, I don't bring them with me because I patronize where I go. Right. If I'm going to smoke 2 or 3 cigars, I'm going to buy them from you. Patronize where you go, always important. So it doesn't matter. But if I ever decide to go have a sit and smoke with someone, then if I know it's going to be a lovely occasion, then yeah, I'm going to go in the humidor and I'm going to pull out that Padron 80 years 26 series. I'm going to tell the truth. That one, I will probably be smoking this weekend. Yes, because there's a very special occasion going on this weekend.
You're definitely puts
Yeah.
a long heart right there. Natural Maduro.
Maduro. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're fancy, what else is there to smoke? I mean, there's other things to smoke, but for special occasions, I will bring out the blackest leaf they got. Boom! So, oh man.
It got killed. You know cigar, and that's one of my favorites.
Now I don't necessarily say that I know them, but I know I enjoy it. And now I can actually walk in the humidor and I can actually pick out what it is I want.
Yeah.
What it is I like.
And you said something very important earlier. You said inexpensive cigars.
Yes.
I always try to tell people to don't say cheap. There's nothing cheap about a cigar. You gotta say inexpensive. Because the labor and the amount of time and love that these manufacturers take into from the seedlings all the way to the finished product of the aging of cigars, the fermentation of it, nothing of that is a cheap.
Nothing's cheap about the process.
Those rollers who are take care of their families at a minimum wage, they're nothing cheap. And one thing about cigars manufacturers, everything to those guys are family. And saying that, I want to shout out to all the cigar manufacturers, all the reps that are out there. Because the reps are road warriors. They got away from their families a lot. They travel around the country a lot, travel the states and all their territories. And a lot of those guys are gone maybe 5 or 6 days out of the week.
Wow.
And so, and what they're doing is trying to bring these beautiful cigars into our humidor for our enjoyment. And being away from their family is a tough gig, as all of us who work long hours have to understand. But those guys do it because they love this industry. And they love the look on their face, on our faces, when we smoke a beautiful cigar. That gives them joy. And there's a lot of great reps out there.
You know
so
what?
all the reps, I want to thank you for coming into our shops, bringing your beautiful product, and for the manufacturer, thank you for all the love that you put into these beautiful cigars that we love.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. Again, it will be going up to YouTube in the next 24 hours. There will also be the beautiful written piece that comes with each lounge, that is a particular lounge based on my, that I know it'll take your breath away when you read it. So just watch, enjoy, get out, support the lounges. It's what we do, it's what we love, it's what they put in blood, sweat, and tears for, to make sure that we have a place to come and decompress, like your grandfather did, like those other people serving in the military who, like I think you mentioned that it kind of helped him with his PTSD.
Yes.
Hey, this is mental health for me. I'm gonna tell the truth, okay? So thank you again. Fancy is getting ready to sign off and finish a cigar and a drink.
Amen.
And enjoy the company of this fabulous man that I learned so much about today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Fancy. It's
Absolutely.
an honor and a pleasure. And thank you all guys for tuning in to her. Keep doing it, keep watching every episode. It's very important. And thank you.
Enjoy the road to 40 lounges and why I lounge. I have definitely doubled 40 lounges at this point. So there is lots more to come for many years to come. And we look forward to entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you.